how do I handle it when my ex starts dating someone new? So when I first got divorced 15, 16 years ago, the idea of dating someone new was like so far from my mind. I mean, I was still emotionally reeling from the divorce and the breakdown of the marriage. And in the back of my mind, I had this crazy fantasy that he would come running back and apologize and say, I want to put my family back together. But the reality is that never happened. And to be honest, I'll blame it on my childhood and teenagehood obsession with Danielle Steele novels, like all those romance novels with happy endings. Like, I just thought, this is going to happen for me. Like, yeah, this was terrible and it was tragic, but there's going to be this amazing happy ending. Instead, the harsh and toxic reality is I found myself caught up in this toxic cycle of stalking his social media, seeing who was this new woman, what does she look like? And let's be real, like this is what we do. I see clients doing this. Like I cannot even count how many clients have come into my office telling me the same story. But this was real for me. I just became obsessed with like looking at her social media. Oh, she's smaller than me, oh, she looks like this, and like all these thoughts were reeling in my head. And the crazy thing is, I didn't realize like, how damaging this was to our co-parenting relationship. A harsh truth and a harsh reality is that I was bitter. I was bitter and broken. It's like, how could you be seeing someone new? And then obviously when I saw what she looked like and all these thoughts in my mind and trying to figure out things about her, and I just was shattered because I'm at a point of like, I'm not even over the marriage, I'm not even adjusted to the divorce. And now, how am I supposed to adjust to you seeing someone else in the prospect of this woman being around our children? Here's what I learned though, as a woman and a divorce lawyer, you can't control what your ex does. And you have to forgive and you have to heal and you have to move on because the truth is what I was doing was damaging, significantly damaging our co-parenting relationship, this obsession, this toxicity. And what I've learned in practice is that 80% of the issues that I deal with in family law are caused by unresolved relationship issues. So what do I mean? I mean, it's caused by the fact that you're hurt, and I get it. It's like they left, they cheated, this fantasy, this reality that you had of what your life would look like is gone. I get that feeling and I get that pit that you feel in your stomach at the idea of your ex now moving on and starting a happy life with someone when you thought that happy life was going to be yours. But that is the reality that you have to accept and to forgive and to heal, to move on. Why? So you can co-parent. So if I could define what that turning point looked like for me in my co-parenting journey, it looked like forgiveness, forgiving him for things that he might not have even been sorry for. And some people look at me and they say, well, how could you forgive somebody? Like they did this and they did that. But it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, forgiveness freed me. Forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. Forgiveness is for your children. And so, yeah, maybe you hate that other person. Maybe you're never going to be friends with them, but you're forgiving for your children so that your children are not sitting on someone's couch one day and trying to relive the toxicity of their parents' co-parenting journey and the things that they internalize. And so that forgiveness is necessary. So the reality is forgiveness freed me. I texted him one day and it was very short and sweet. And I said, I forgive you. I'm sorry. And that was like huge turning point in my co-parenting journey, this huge weight lifted off of me and this burden is I let it down. It's like I don't have to carry this, Yeah, it didn't work out. This isn't how I saw my life. This isn't what I planned for myself or my children, but it doesn't matter. There's something better for me on the other side. And so I'm going to let this burden down. Seeing your ex with someone new, it's going to sting. Like there's nothing that I can say or do that's going to, make that burden any less. It will sting, but we have to move on because you want to move on, they're going to move on, and we have to forgive them, free ourselves, and get to that point where we can co-parent in a healthy way. Here's a piece of advice that I will give you, and purchase my book for the rest. Don't let bitterness define you. because bitterness is a poison that will seep on everyone that you love. You're mad at the other person and you're thinking that this is hurting them, but bitterness is a deep dark poison. And so forgive them and free yourself.